If you upgraded to the EDU Plus version of Google Workspace for Education, you have access to some brand new premium features for Google Classroom. But you do need to set them up and configure them. Let's take a look through the admin console and get them ready. Hi, my name is John Sowash. Welcome to the Google Admin Bootcamp. To get started, we're going to log into the Google Admin console and we're going to head over to the Apps section. From there, we'll go to the Google Workspace applications, and then we'll look for Google Classroom and open that up. Now, in this video, I'm going to be focusing on the configuration for some of the premium classroom features. I do have a different video that talks about some core key considerations for all versions of Google Workspace. So make sure you watch that one in addition to this one for those of you who have the premium access. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that anywhere you see this little purple flag, that indicates a premium feature. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. Let's talk about school matches. This is an interesting option. School matches allows Google to check for plagiarism. There's a feature called originality reports in Google Classroom that does this, and teachers can toggle that on. But this feature will also check student submissions against previous student work. The idea is it prevents a student from turning the same paper in twice or reusing someone else's paper, an older sibling, or something like that. All this does, and all you have to do is check this box, enable school matches. It's going to automatically copy all classroom submissions into a private shared drive and then compare future classroom submissions against the documents in that shared drive. No one has access to it. It stays within your domain. It's a very safe and secure solution. Now, the problem with school matches is it checks for web content and it checks for previous student work, but it doesn't actually check against AI generated content. So you might as well turn it on. You've got access to it, can't hurt anything. But right now, the big challenge is students using AI, and this is not going to address that particular problem. Let's head back to the settings page and let's talk about these default grading options. This isn't required. It's just something to consider. Now, I do think that the grading periods can be a nice feature. This allows you to specify the start and the end of your key grading periods, quarters, semesters, trimesters, etc. When a teacher creates a Google Classroom, their gradebook will automatically be configured with these dates. What you put here only applies to classes that are created from this point forward. Teachers can also modify these dates if they want to. If they want to eliminate them, change them, create their own grading periods, they have the option of doing that. So you're really just helping them get started, but you're not locking them into anything. The same is true for the next two categories. We also have grade calculations. The goal here is to standardize grading across all classes. So if there's agreed upon categories like classwork, homework, projects, and assessments, you can automatically configure those graded categories and would be applied to future classes that are created. Again, teachers can modify this if they want. This one, I don't know. I think most teachers have their own categories. I don't know if that I would set this one up. The final option is grading scales. This one probably is useful. So your school probably has an agreed upon, letter grade scale. So what is an A, what is a B, and so on. You can pre-configure that for courses. They also have a few other ones that you can look at, proficiency, 4-point scale, or you can create your own custom one if you want. So those are available for the premium feature. This is just a way of making it easier for teachers to set up their classes and get started early on in the year. Now I'm back to the main setting for Google Classroom, and I just want to point out that Google Classroom does integrate with many student information systems. Right now they have support for these, and then the big one is they also do connect with Clever. So that allows you to virtually connect with any rostering tool that you have. This is a premium feature. This allows you to add students to your student information system and have those students flow into the classes. Also allows you to potentially sync grades as well. This is a somewhat complex setup depending on what SAS you're using and how it all talks to each other. So I'm not going to demo the steps in this video. We'll do that in a separate video. But if you want to integrate your SAS with Google Classroom, you have that option as an EDU Plus customer. The next thing I want to show you is called Google Classroom add-ons. This allows your teachers to connect their favorite ed tech tools directly into Google Classroom. The challenge is that they cannot do this until you approve those applications. So you need to visit the marketplace, workspace.google.com. There's a filter that says works with Classroom. And then you can begin exploring to see if there are any of these tools that your district is currently using. If you want to approve something, you simply click on it and approve it. You can approve it for an organizational unit, an individual teacher. You can do that however you wish. Once that application is approved, it would allow a teacher to go to Google Classroom, say explore add-ons, and this is where they'll see whatever applications you have approved. This just allows these tools to run inside of Google Classroom. It's very convenient. Teachers don't have to manage multiple logins or set up accounts for their students inside of Express or IXL. Simplifies it, keeps them all in one place. Very helpful, and it's a great premium feature that you have access to. Since we're in Google Classroom, I want to head back to the home screen and show you two interesting options. So at the top of my screen, I have an option that says visit a class, and I have an option that says school analytics. I'm going to show you how to turn these two features on. They're very helpful and features that have been a very long time in coming. The first option is visit a class. This is designed for school administrators, technology coaches who need to support teachers or students with their coursework. So for example, if you had a teacher who had an unexpected illness and is going to be out of the classroom, didn't prepare subplans in advance, we can search for that teacher's name, get temporary access to his or her courses, and teach that class for the day. I don't have to request permission from the teacher. I can also do this for a student to check their grades, look for missing assignments, and things like that. In order to visit someone else's class, you need an administrator privilege, a role. And so we're going to go back to the admin console, go to the home screen, and we're going to look for the roles section right here, admin roles. I'm going to create a new role, and we're going to actually create two. The first is called visit a class. And then in the privileges, I'm going to search for classroom. For some reason, this isn't a predefined role. It really should be. There are just a few permissions related to Google Classroom, and the visit a class feature requires manage classes. So I'll create that role, assign that role to any individuals who can be trusted with the ability to visit any class within the domain. And then from that point forward, they'll have this visit a class option appear at the top of Google Classroom when they log in. Now, the other feature that we saw was the analytics piece. For a long time, analytics for Google Classroom have been very limited. How many classes are there? How many posts have been created? That was it. You now have the ability to get much more detailed analytics about specific classes, specific teachers, specific students, how many active students there are, how many active classes, what are the grades, average number of assignments that have been submitted, things like that. In order to view this page, you need to create an additional role. We'll call it Classroom Analytics. And for this role, you would simply select the other option here, View Analytics for users and classes. Now, any teacher can look at the analytics for their class without this role. they'll be able to see, what's going on their class. But if a school administrator wants a high-level overview of what's going on across the entire district, they would need this analytics role applied to them. Again, when they go to Google Classroom, they'll see this option appear up at the top of the screen with that information. Now, this analytics feature is still developing. The data will vary based on how much you're using Google Classroom. Obviously, if your teachers aren't putting their grades in Classroom, then the grades may not tell the full story. So it's interesting. Keep an eye on it. I think that Google will continue to expand this feature over time and hopefully make it even better. Those are my recommendations for getting full value out of your EDU Plus subscription. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check out my essential Google Classroom setup tips for IT admins. That video will be posted up over here. And if you're a new IT admin, check out my playlist on my favorite Google admin tips down below.